Thank you for joining me. And we are going to start podcast for this year in preparation for subsequent examinations that are upcoming. I wish you to follow me at Invictus Forum on Facebook and also subscribe to my YouTube channel, Invictus Forum. We are going to begin with Raisin in the Sun. Raisin in the Sun is a play that has been written by Lauren Hansberry, who happens to be one of the pioneer civil rights activists who had fought bravely for the liberation of blacks in the United States of America, and also contributed in her own share in her writing for the emancipation of the African continent. A Raisin in the Sun is inspired by a poem called Dreams Deferred, written by Langsing Hughes. And it is inspired by the line, "What happens to a dream deferred? Does it dry up like a raisin in the sun?" This is to talk about hopes and dreams of the African American that have been shattered or swept under the carpet. She is one of the greatest Black American writers and the first woman, African American woman, whose play was performed at Broadway. She got inspiration from people like W.H. Du Bois and the inspiration from the Harlem movement, which was about Black awareness, a creation of an awareness of Blacks to emancipate themselves, empower themselves educationally, psychologically, socially, and even economically. First, this is a play which has to be studied from the background of the Second World War and the Great Depression. The economic situation in America was very catastrophic. There was a lot of poverty everywhere. And the most affected group of people at this time were the African Americans. Apart from that, the play also has its background and its roots in the slave trade and the human indignity that blacks had been subjected to for many years in the South. Blacks were owned as slaves. Their children were born into slavery. They could be sold to other slave owners. They were not given the opportunity to be educated. They were not given the opportunity to own land and to be empowered economically. In effect, they worked as sharecroppers. Even after the abolition of slave trade, the black man continued to live an impoverished life in the South, where he could only work as a sharecropper for his master. Consequently, many blacks thought that life was more interesting for them when they go up north. And therefore here, Hansberry tries to make a balance between the open racism that was practiced in the South and that which is hidden in the North. Many blacks came to the North with hopes that they will gain some empowerment. But Hansberry makes us to understand that in this play, no matter where the black man finds themselves, their story still remains the same. They are segregated against. They are considered just menial jobs. And no matter how educated they are, they will not be given the same responsibilities that will be given to white people. This is also a play in which Hansberry makes the reader to understand that the family unit is a greater unit that holds the family together, especially when the family is united. Consequently, she says in her play that no matter the difficulties that people can face in their home, they must share love for one another. We now understand why the younger family have been together despite the hardship. And Mama does everything to make sure that her greatest wish is to keep her family together. It is also a play about racism, about segregation. Blacks and whites are not allowed to stay in the same neighborhoods. Blacks are relegated to stay in ghettos and slums that are characterized by a lot of poverty. They live in squalid conditions, and they live in apartment buildings which are shared by many tenants. Therefore, there is void to be much privacy. The younger apartment is a testimony to the fact that these houses are not comfortable at all. And Benietta is in a haste to leave that apartment as soon as possible. On the other hand, Clybourne Park is a white restricted area, and the white community there will not allow anybody from any other community to step in and stay there. And that's why newspaper articles carry articles such as Negroes bombed out of Clybourne Park. Mama buys a house in Clybourne Park, but Mr. Linde comes to meet them to tell them that their house could be sold or could even be bought at a higher price than they had purchased it. Although out of pride, they refuse to take the offer. He tells them of what will be awaiting them. It is also a play about love. It is also a play about hard work. It is also a play about shattered dreams. And from now on, we are going to take act summaries of the various acts and scenes, and we give their analysis till the end of the play.